Stop recording.
Hey guys, it's Beyond Sight. I just woke up. I am going to talk about something that is a bit nostalgic, at least for some people. For me especially, but have you ever seen a TV show back in the day called The Batman back in 2004? Probably not a lot of you have seen it. I know I haven't. I may have watched an episode here or there in its heyday from 2004 to 2008. But there's something that I think I should talk about. There was an elongated package that was a blister card that some of these bat vehicles came in. A bat, like a jet or a plane. I think it was a plane, a bat car type thing, which I've done a review on before on my channel back in 2016. It's called Bat Car, and I think I might be able to link it in the description once I get it. I know how to paste things into the description. It's just a simple copy and paste thing. It's not that big of a deal. And once I get it, I'll put it in the description so you guys can take a look at it. Now, granted, it doesn't have any visuals, but, I wasn't very into, describing things. I was just, I think I only demonstrated it if I remember correctly. What I remember from that was it was some Batmobile type thing. It was elongated. The front was it was like one of those race car type things. If you imagine an Indy car or something like that, it was kind of like that. The front of it was, and then the back of it was kind of like it had somewhat like wings on the back, and it had like a round, I believe, engine, and it had a rev up feature, where if you would roll it on a surface on the wheel, that would rev up, it would do like vroom, 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 and every time you did it, it would the pitch of the thing would get higher. I'm not sure, but you gotta listen to the video to actually get an idea of what I'm talking about. The Batman figure was made into the vehicle, as was the one in the jet, the one in the one on the motorcycle. Yes, there was a motorcycle variant. I'm not sure what this was called, but the jet didn't have a rev up thing. The jet was the thing that either it was a jet or I don't know. It was a plane, Batman in a plane. Batman didn't come out of it. Batman didn't come off the motorcycle. The motorcycle one is the one that am most fond of, or was most fond of. It was in that same packaging, elongated. In the Batman series, I believe it was Mattel back in the day. It was Mattel, and nowadays it's Spin Master. But back in the day, it was Mattel, and the packaging was I don't remember.
Pause recording button. Microphone. Stop.
I don't remember what it was back in the day, but the packaging was it was thin. It was I don't know, like a rectangle, but for the vehicles, that car type thing with the rev up thing, and the motorcycle thing, and that plane type thing, they were in a elongated version of the package. Like how there are some larger packages to fit larger things or different things. Well, that's exactly what happened with that. And yes, I'm sure it wasn't part of the Dark Knight series. Because, yes, the Dark Knight was out at the time, but I don't remember anything about it. The Dark Knight was probably in a different packaging. I don't know. I have vague memories of it. But there's one thing that I remember that I remember the packaging of. It was Batman the Brave and the Brave of the Bold, or Brave and the Bold. Those figures had holes on their limbs and stuff, on their back. 2 holes on their arms, 1 hole for their legs, I guess, and 1 hole for the back. And the cape had a hole in it for the round circle thing to go through. I'm pretty sure you can find Batman the Brave and the Bold toys brand new on eBay. But it's just nostalgic things that I remember. Hey! By the way, guys, I did something. I don't know what that means. Sorry. I know I'm on camera. I'm sorry. But I just, have something on my... Have something there. Okay? But as I was saying, the Batman figure didn't come off, which is kind of a shame. But it was kind of cool to have at least an action figure on a motorcycle. The way, I believe it was Mattel that did it, but the way they did it was there were some movable parts on the action figure. The head I know for sure moved. The arms, they did move because I believe they came off the handlebars and you can move them up and down, although they were made of rubber, but they were not the standard plastic that you would have seen. It was, motorcycles were about 6-7 inches, about that, and they were about... One had a missile in the front. You'd press on a button, the missile would pop out, or, launch out. And then there was another one. There were 2 versions of it that I got. Both have been lost to time. The second one, I believe, had 6 different missiles. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Rider Skins or whatever your name is, you might remember. Because I remember showing one to you. Or Kamen Rider, whatever your name is. I might have to text you about it. That is if you watch my channel still. But I remember someone looked at it. It's kind of cool. Back in 2008 or 9 is when I got it. And I remember going to Toys R Us both times. Which makes me miss Toys R Us a bit more. But hey, Toys R Us is open. In the U.S. Toys R Us is open in 3 different locations. One in the Galleria area. That might give away my location. Crud. Well, not my exact, but one in the U.S. and one in Germany and one somewhere else, I guess. But that's beside the point. They're opening back up for the holidays. But anyways, that's beside the point. And sorry, I wanted to get something off. Those Batman toys, they were nostalgic. There were a few other things that were nostalgic. There was a Bruce Wayne to Batman figure type thing. They made it to where it had full accessories. It had a thing you put on the arm, an almost full bodysuit, which went down to the waist, and a sword that turned into a fan, apparently. And then the figure itself, and that's it. And then, I remember in 2010, I'm surprised that stuff was still out, but a Joker action figure with a suitcase full of weapons. That's right, full of guns or weapons. Or briefcase. Briefcase or suitcase, whatever. I would say briefcase, but whatever. Those toys were sold for a long time at Toys R Us, I think. And that's saying a lot since, well, I believe they were last sold in 2010 or 2011. And that was about it. And then they sold some of those toys, including the Batman to Bruce Wayne, up until about 2012 or 2013. Yikes. I'm not joking. They actually sold some of those toys, but in a different packaging. That time where I think there was either a bat on it or something. I'm not really sure, but part of the packaging was a bat, I think, if I remember correctly. A bat face or whatever, I'm not sure. But, yeah. One of those Batman figures is, I think, Suction Cup Batman or something like that. And then there was one that was, one that had a few different accessories or whatever. I think it was actual Suction Cup Blast Batman or something. But I'm not sure. But it was a bit of a long time. Someone actually said the cape of Batman was his wings. I don't recognize that. I don't think that's true. I mean, sure, Batman, bats have wings, but Batman has a cape, and I'm not sure if his original, I forgot, I had the word to know it. His original I forgot the word. His original I'll remember it eventually. His original looks were, I'm not sure if his original, looks included a cape. Because back in the 1930s, Batman had a gun in the comics. But hey, I guess only time will tell if they bring those toys back. But then again, Mattel doesn't have the license anymore. And they just don't. In fact, those shows are over. The Batman TV show has been off for 13 years. The Batman Brave and the Brave of the Bold, I'm not sure. But that, I think the toys were sold up until 2013. And then there was the Beware the Batman. I'm not sure if that really had a series or whatever. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Cool. but yeah, anyways. Surprisingly, the watch Batman action figure I bought was one of the first Batmans from Spin Master. And that was the last one I bought. I wish I would have bought more, but hey. Batman's different now. If you remember looking at my Spin Master Batman review. Batman has gone from comic in the 1930s to a serial in the 1940s to another serial in the 1940s to a TV series in the 1960s to an animated series in the late 1960s to a TV series in the 1970s, which was The New Adventures of Batman, to the Batman film in the 1980s, the late 1980s, the one with Michael Keaton. And then, the Batman animated series in the 1990s. I don't know why they called it that, since they already had 2 series with the Caped Crusader in the 1960s and 70s. But I mean, hey, I guess they just wanted to base it off the movie, so yeah, I guess so.
Alert. www.
Okay, I don't need to know that.
Pause record. Stop.
Then there was, so then there was the Adventures of Batman and Robin, or the New Adventures of Batman and Robin, I'm not real sure. Then there was Batman Beyond. Of course there were the 3 other Batman films, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. Those were in the 1990s. I think 1992, 1995, and 1997, respectively. The Adventures of Batman and Robin, or whatever. That was around in the late 90s. Yeah. No, whoa, wait a minute, why am I doing this? Batman Beyond came out in the 2000s. There was a Batman Beyond film, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Then there was the Batman TV series in 2004. Then there was Batman Brave of the Bold, or Brave and the Bold, or whatever you want to pronounce it as. We'll say it as. Then there was Beware the Batman in 2013, and then other films have like Batman vs Superman, and then there was some callbacks to the 1966 TV series with two films, Batman Return of the Caped Crusaders in 2016. Then there was Batman versus Two-Face in 2017. Those were two films that Adam West starred in as Batman for the last time. There were several reunions of Batman and Robin from like 1966. There was one in the 1970s. There were two of them in the 1970s, actually, if you count that TV series. And then I think in the 1978. Then there was Adam West being Batman, like voicing Batman, in the 1980s for like the Super Friends TV series. Olin Sowell voiced Batman from the 1960s up until the 1970s. Why am I thinking about this? There's not been a Batman TV series since 2013. No, 2014, I'm sorry. But yeah, there hasn't been one since. I wish there was one, though, because Batman, I think, is pretty popular. Now, when it comes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, pretty sure a lot of people know about this. The comics came out in the 1980s, 1984 to be exact, May of 1984 to be exact. So they would be right now 37 years old at this point. Their inception in the 1980s. Wait a minute, I'm not even sure. In 1987, of course, they had a cartoon series. Then about 3 years later, they had the first film. And then about a year later, they had the second film. And then about 2 years later, then the third film in the original trilogy. Trilogy. Blah. Okay, there we go. Then about 3 years later, the original series ended. Thus, it ended. Then about a year later, a live-action TV series came out called The Next Mutation, lasted for about a season. Then about 5 years later, there was a TV series in 2003. Actually, no. Actually, yes. Yes. It lasted up until about 2009, and during that time there was a movie about 4 years later, in 2007. From 2003 to 2007. I meant from 2003 to 2007. Then about a couple years later, the series ended. There was a TV film that served as the finale called Turtles Forever. And then about 3 years later, there was the 2012 series. About 2 years after that, from the start of it, there was a couple films. What we call the Michael Bay films, 2014 and 2016 respectively. There was going to be a third one, but there wasn't. There's a third film coming out. There's a film coming out. They're wanting to have 13, 16-year-olds star as the Turtles. Of course, this is animated and not live action. A year after the the 2016 film, which was Out of the Shadows. The series, the 2012 series ended. A year after that, a year later, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out. It lasted up until 2020, but it's unknown whether the series is going to continue or not. It could potentially continue, but it's unknown. There's a film coming out for it called Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie. But yeah, there's more details on, like, Batman since he's been around a lot longer. Spider-Man hasn't been around that long. In fact, the Marvel superheroes, I think, have been around since the 60s. But Spider-Man debuted in a TV series, a cartoon series in 1967. Then in the 1970s, there was a Spider-Man series that was live action. Then there was a Toei, or Japanese version of Spider-Man, or something like that, in the 1970s. Then there was a Spider-Man series in the 1980s, and then there was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Then there was a Spider-Man series in the 1990s. Then there was a Spider-Man series in the 2000s, early 2000s. Then there was the Spectacular Spider-Man. Of course, I cannot forget about those films that came out in 2002, 2004, and 2007, respectively, with a man with the last name of Garfield or something like that. After the Spectacular Spider-Man, there was the Ultimate Spider-Man TV series, and there was Spider-Man 2017. I think it's still going on. Then there's one in 2021 that pays homage to that 1980s Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which I remember watching a few different things. But yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Pause recording. Stop recording.
But anyways, just some nostalgic stuff that I remember, that's all. And if you want to know about some other stuff that I liked, go and check out my World of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles channel. Link to that might be in the description as well. So see you guys later. Peace!